Hi everyone, this is Hannah and I'm a community initiative lead at Recro, and today I'm having Rishu with us. So Rishu works with Recro and working at Jobit from Recro. And about Recro, so we are a developer-centric organization wherein we are trying to connect developers' aspiration to the right opportunity, like working with the high-growth startups like Jobit, Udan, Swiggy, Dunzo, and there are a lot more companies with we are working with. And about this webinar, so today's topic is animation in React Native. So you're gonna learn a lot about animation in React Native, and I think Rishu would be the right person to tell you more about the topic. So I'm not gonna get into this. Let me tell you about the platform in detail, like on what we are right now. So today we are using AirMeet. So on the right hand side, you can see the session. So after this, like we will be starting with the presentation, and in which is like more onto like I would say a coding based webinar, wherein you will be getting live experience here, and then you can see attendees like who are attending this webinar with you, and then you can see the chat. So when you can talk about anything about the webinar and everything. And then we are having questions. So please ask your question only in the question section so that we can just segregate, like we don't miss out any of your question in the end of the webinar, because we're going to have the Q&A in the end of the webinar. And that's it. I think that's it about the platform. So if you're liking something, you can always share your expressions down. And I think we should start off. So on to you, Rishu.
Yeah, hello everyone. Am I audible? First of all, yeah, thanks Anna for this lovely introduction, and yeah, so thanks everyone to join this session, and hopefully we'll learn a lot about animation. How can we use animation in React Native to create a meaningful application? Okay, so let me share my screen. So yeah, let's begin. So why do we need animation? So first of all, animation should be used to improve the user experience of your application, right? They should not be used to delight the user, as this tend to end up being pointless and actually hinder your users. So animations can reduce cognitive load, define relationship between elements, provide visual hints, and much more. Overall, animations are generally added later but provide immense value to your users, and I'll teach you how to break down animations, understand them, rebuild them, and implement them in your own applications. So yeah, so this is the agenda of today's talk. So first we'll learn about the animated module, what all animated module exposes to us, and then we will learn about animating properties, like animating different opacity, different styles, animating height, width, scaling, translating different properties of animation. And then we'll learn about the functions that animated library exposes us. And moving next, we'll learn about combining different type of animation and interpolation, and then we will do some handful examples on animation. Okay, so today the goal of the day should be, like, we will be achieving these two different animations. So these two animations will learn how can we break down these animations, and how can we think, like how should we break down the animation to create a difficult animation into a simpler one. Cool. Let's move to animated module. So the animated module, first of all, we basically work on this animated.value and animated.value xy. So these two values drive the animation in a React Native environment. Okay, so these two are base structure of an animation. And apart from that, animated library also exposes these six component that we can animate upon. So in order to use animation, we have to use these six components, which we'll learn in the later course. Also, we can use create animated component. So this create animated component helps us to create any given component to animated component. Then animation also exposes decay, timing, and spring functions, which helps us to use other animated properties. And apart from that, we have delay, parallel, sequence, and stagger functions that can be used to combine different animations. Okay. So yeah, I think lots of talking here. So let's move to some of the coding part. So let's move to animating property. So moving forward to animating properties, we will learn animating opacity, width, height, and other styles. Cool. So this code base, this is already shared on GitHub. I'll share the link with everyone. So whatever we are going to do today, the exercises that we are going to do today, so everything is shared on the GitHub, and I'll share the link with you. So we'll start with a plain UI component, which is nothing but hello world right now. So we'll make it an animated component, and we'll learn how can we animate opacity from this component. Okay. So, okay, we are using a functional component. So I'm assuming everyone is aware with functional component and hooks. So we are creating one animated ref. So we are initializing this animated ref with animated value of 0. Okay, feel free to stop me if anyone has any doubt. We need to import this user ref. Okay, so we initialize our reference with animated value of 0. We'll learn why this has been initialized with 0, and we'll see how does it help. We create an animated view. Let's create some box first. So we have created one box. Okay, now we'll use the animation property to animate the opacity part. Okay, now we'll so we want to create opacity animation. So we are creating one animated style. So on that we are trying to put this animation dot current value to opacity value, and we'll use this opacity value to our styles. Now we'll learn. Okay, so we started with opacity of 0. So we wanted to make 1 so that the element is visible to us. Cool. Now we'll create one animate function. So this animate function, what it will do, it will just use animated library. So animated has one timing function. So I'll explain what timing does. So timing is a function which takes a reference of that animation, which animated value which we want to animate, and it also accepts some parameters like duration and easing function where we want to animate to. So for this particular timing function, we'll use animation dot current, and we want to animate it to, let's say, opacity of 0.3 with a duration of 500 milliseconds. And this timing function has to be started, so we'll use this dot start. Now, when to start? Let's say we'll use touchable without feedback. And on press of this touchable without feedback, we'll call this animate function. I'll just reload it once again. So in this example, what we did, we created one animate function where we are passing the reference of this animated animation value, and we are animating this from 1 to 0.3. If we pass the two value to 0, then it will take it to 0. Like it will diminish the element, right? So this is how we animate an opacity styles. So is it clear to everyone? Cool. Next, we will learn animating width and height. Cool. So similarly, like just we did with opacity, we can change the width. We'll start with animated.current. So initial width was 100, and we want to animate it to, let's say, 200. I need to reload it. So this width got animated. So any style property that we want to animate, it can easily, we can define that property in animated style, and we can use that property to animate our view or image or anything. Is it clear to everyone? Cool. Just a second. Okay. Next, we will learn scale functions. Like how can we scale the views or div. Okay. Okay. So the scale function helps us to scale the view or any element to a particular ratio. Let's say we want to scale it to twice of the current size. So we are what we are doing here, we are using a transform, and inside the transform function we are having scale function. So this scale function takes over the animation.current value, and when we click on this touchable without feedback, this particular div, so it scales it to twice of the current value. Okay, so this is how it is done. Now we want to, let's say we want to scale it down when the animation has completed. So this all this animated.timing or spring function, that spring function we'll learn in a later course of time. So it has dot start function. So this start function also gives us a callback, so which will be completed upon. So let's say we want to see if the animation has completed. Okay. So as soon as the animation timing is completed, we got this callback as an output. Now we want to scale it back to 0. So what we can do, we can also do again animated.timing with now the two values will be 1 and duration will be, let's say, 300 milliseconds. Also we have to start this animation, right? Okay, is it fine? Cool. So we can also use scale X or scale Y. So let's say we just want to scale the X part of the div. So we'll just save it and let's see. Yeah, this is how it is. Also we can do a scale of Y. This is how it is, right? Cool. Now, there's an interesting part of scale. So we just saw we can also do animation on width property, or we can also do animation on height property. Then again, we have scale. So what is the difference between width and scale? Like when to use which one, or which one is more performant, right? So to answer this question, let's see what is the difference first. Let's say we have a text of hello world inside our animated component. Okay. Now we want to scale the same thing. So if you see, this hello world is also scaled. Okay, let's say we'll just do a scale. Okay, now this hello world is also scaled, right? So whenever we do a scale function, so scale whatever child element are present inside the animated component, everything will be scaled, right? Now when we do animation on width or height, it will not expand or contract the child element. It will only expand the given element, right? Let's see if we do width on, okay, we have to make it 100. Two value should be 200, the value should be 100. Okay, my system is lying. Okay, now let's see how it is different. So when we do a width of animation on width property, it does not scale the hello world text. It only scales the outer div, right? So this is a basic difference in width and scaling the width, or scaling the using the scale property of transform. Cool. So we also have translate x or y. Let's say, we want to translate this div to right. So what we can do? Is it clear to everyone? So using this, like playing on these different properties of our style, we can animate our component in any direction or any way we want. So we have a question. Okay, so we have a question of what are the advantages of using useRef over useState here. Okay, so useRef and useState. So this is basically a React concept. So I'll just cover it. What is the difference? So useState, when we want to re-render our component basis on basis of a state change, we'll be using useState. And useRef, it gives us the reference of an element. It does not, let's say, whenever we are changing the element, it does not cause a re-render. So that is the advantage. So if we use state over here, it will solve our purpose, but it will do an unnecessary re-rendering that will reduce our performance of our application, right? Cool. Let's see. So I think we know how can we animate the properties, animating the opacity, width, height, and other styles, translating and scaling. We saw all of this, right? Cool. So we can just move to some other example. Let's see. Now moving next, this is one of the favorite part of mine personally. So animated functions. So React animated library exposes a different type of functions. The timing function that we are using right now, and we also have spring, loop, decay, add, divide, multiply, and modulo. We'll see how all these things are done and what are advantages, when to use which one. So first of all, I just want to show. Okay, so what I have done here, I have created a similar boilerplate that we were using in the example component. So this is the timing component that I've created. So in this example also we have this touchable. Inside that touchable we have an embedded view that is a box, and we are providing the embedded styles. So what we are doing over here on press of this, we are just translating this to white and from to value 300. Cool. Now let's see how does the timing, or what are the advantage of using timing. So timing gives us, so we can define the duration in the timing function. So timing function lets us use, okay, this particular element we want to animate, and this is the timing, this is the duration that we want to animate. And it also has a easing function. So easing function gives you a more I would say more benefit. Like, let's see what are the different type of easing functions first. So easing dot back, it gives us, let's say it will move 5 PD backward, and then it will move to the actual value. Okay. So using different easing function, we can make our animation more interesting, I would say. So easing dot bounce. So as you can see, it will go to the to value and do a bouncing effect, right? So using easing dot elastic, it will go and come back. So it's just elastic function. So it also provides a Bezier curve. So this Bezier curve we can use, we can define any custom Bezier curve, and this particular div will element will follow that Bezier curve. So let's say I've just put some random Bezier curve, and upon click of this, it will go slowly to that element, right? So always it will go to the to value. So we are starting with 0. So 0 we have defined over here, okay, and it will go to 300 pt down. Okay, one important point I forgot to tell you. So let's say we are providing a positive value is always downwards. So in animated components, React Native assumes everything is starting from the top left. So top left is my 0 0, and positive value is downward and right, negative value is upward and left. So if I provide to value minus of 300, then it will go upward, right? Cool. Okay, so this is a basic about timing function, and let's move to spring function. I'll just comment out the timing function. So again, in spring component, we are using the same block, okay, and this block, again, like we are using a scale function on this block. So inside the spring function, what we are doing, okay, so first of all, I'll show you how does spring function is. So it's in a simple way, comment out everything. So this is the spring function. So what did we notice here? So over the period, okay, spring function does not have a time duration value. So spring functions know how, when it has to start and when it has to stop. So whenever we click on this particular component, it starts the animation function, and the to value is, so we are scaling it up, so it knows where exactly it has to stop. So coming back to our this reference spring, so as you can see, this, like whenever we have a spring, it coming to the physics class, right? So it oscillates and it knows where it has to where it has to stop. So the spring function has a friction and tension. So tension defines how much energy the spring has, and the friction defines how quickly that energy can dissipate. Based upon the spring formula, the animated dot value will bounce around like a spring and until it stops, right? So spring is the best way to stimulate real physics motion in an animation. It allows you to build out more realistic animations, and without having to define a duration or guess the appropriate duration or for a particular animation. Right? So let's see if we use friction and tension together, how does it help? So like as soon as we provide a tension, so it has more bouncy kind of effect. It knows where it has to stop, just like in this spring. So if the tension is not present at all, so this spring will expand, and it will stop at all. It will not I mean, it will not have a bouncy kind of effect, right? If the tension is not present. So similarly over here, if the tension is not present, it will just expand and it will not create any effect. So if we increase the friction, that will reduce our bouncy effect. So if we, let's say if we increase the friction to 100, and let's reload the component, it did not create any effect. Why? Because the friction was very high. It reduced the entire motion, and yeah, that's it. So having a low friction value and good tension amount gives you more realistic effects. So based on your requirement, definitely will know, okay, what is a suitable value for us. Cool. Now let's uncomment this part. So what we are doing, so after it expands, we want to make it to the original state. So okay, I have to reload it. Yeah, it expanded, it took some time, and then it came back to normal. Cool. So this is how a spring function works. So you can provide friction, tension, and okay. So did anyone worry about what is this use native driver? So I'll tell you. So this native driver is a helper property that enables animations to perform in a native environment. So when we use React Native, we have iOS and Android, two separate app platforms. So most of the animation doesn't perform very well in the native platform. So the properties where this use native driver is supported are performant, very performant. Like if we have a 60 FPS performance, we want a 60 FPS of performance, then we should definitely go with those properties where we can use native driver. So some of the properties are not supported by native drivers, like animation on width, animation on height, opacity. So like we should avoid those animations where we cannot use this native drivers. So this is not using the native driver is not very performant. Okay, cool. So this animated functions also gives us loop and decay. So we are not going deep into decay function. Loop we will see in a while. So decay is something where we can use with pen gestures. Pen gesture is something which is very advanced concept of these animations. So we'll explore in the next maybe next webinar session. And again, coming with add, divide, multiply, modulo. So these are some helper function. Let's say you have some animated value and you want to change that animated value to you want to increase that animated value or reduce it. You can use these helper functions to play on this animated value. So now we'll learn how can we use how can we combine the different type of animation to create more realistic animation. So we have four functions which React Native Animated Library exposes us: parallel, sequence, stagger, and delay. So we'll learn how these four animations, so these four functions can help us to achieve more realistic animations, which we'll use in our day-to-day life. Okay. So I'll just comment out our Spring part. So we'll start with parallel first. So again, I have created a helper function, helper component. So this parallel component, what it has one again same animated box that we were using, and so now we are creating two animation values. One is color animation, one is scale animation. Okay. So color animation, we are starting with 0 because we are defining the starting point of color animation, and the scale animation we are starting with 1. If we do it 0, then scale will be 0. We won't see the element at all. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So there is one interpolate thing. I'll come to that later. So this animated style. So this particular box, we are passing this animated style. In this animated style, we are having this background color interpolation and this transform, that scale function, how we were using it before. Cool. Now let's see how it works. Okay. So in this animate function, what we are doing here, we are having this parallel animated.parallel. So this animated.parallel takes n number of animations as an argument, as an array arguments, and we can each and every animation runs parallelly, as the name suggests, right? So we are doing two animated.timing. One is on color animation and one is on scale animation. To the value color animation, we want to animate it to 1, with a duration of 500 milliseconds, and scale animation, we want to scale it twice with a duration of 300 milliseconds. And we'll start both the things in parallel. Okay. I'll just do a quick. So when my animation completes, I want to reset this to initial value so that we can animate it again and again. So we are just setting the current value to what we are having as initial value. Just reload it. Okay. So okay, I'll increase the timing so that it's more visible. Let's say 1500 seconds and 1300 seconds. As you can see, this color animation takes 1500 seconds to change from this orange color to green, and the scale animation takes 1300 seconds to expand. If I do 300 seconds, so it will scale first and then it will continue to change the color, as you can see, right? So this parallel, basically the parallel helper function gives us a ability to run multiple animation functions in a parallel time. Cool. Now moving to sequence. So in this sequence animation, we are having the same thing, back color animation and scale animation. Cool. So okay, I'm going to, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So this sequence animation, we are again having the same thing, color animation and scale animation, and we are just doing an animated.sequence over time, color animation and scale animation. Cool. Rest everything remains same. So how does it different? So in parallel, both the animations started at the same time, and in sequence, the animation will start one after another. Is it fine? So let's see. Let's increase the duration so that it's visible properly. So when we click, first it will change the color for 1500 seconds, then it will start expanding. It will not start at the same time, right? Cool. Any doubts so far? We have a question. In which functions do we need to? Okay, so use native driver can be used with animated.timing. So whenever, so native driver basically helps us to tell our native platform that this particular animation can be run in a native environment. So those properties which can be supported on native drivers, we will identify those as a native driver. So if I do, let's say, use native driver over here, it will throw us an error because we cannot do a native driver on color component. See, style property background color is not supported by a native animated module. So the native animated module does not support native drivers on color animations. I mean color properties. Similarly, it does not support on width, height properties. So you can find all of this in detail in React Native documentation. So I'm just giving you a hint like where, how it works and where all we can use it. Was I clear? Yeah. So sequence, is it fine? Let's move to stagger. Okay. So moving back to stagger. So stagger is it's an advancement of parallel animation, I would say. So in parallel, we had both the animation running at the same time. So in stagger, both the animation start at the same time, but with a delay of certain milliseconds. So stagger has a little different way to write the function. So stagger first argument is the delay that we want to provide and subsequent animations that we want to have. So the first animation in the stagger function will execute immediately, and the second animation will execute after a delay of 200 milliseconds. So both the animation would end up at the same time because we have 300 plus 200, 500, and this will also take 500 milliseconds. So let's just see this example in detail. Okay. So as we see, like both ended at the same time. So stagger basically helps us to delay certain animations for a certain duration of time. So let's say we have 5 animations running parallelly, and we want to add to some delay to consecutive animations. So we should use stagger over there. Okay, cool. So is it fine? Okay, we can also show the delay animation. Moving to delay. So delay is nothing but it just adds a delay of certain milliseconds in between our animation. So delay always has to be used with either parallel, sequence, or stagger animation. So let's say we have a sequence animation. So it's the same example that we are using over and over. So let's say we have a sequence animation over here, and so the first animation is color animation and the second is scale animation, and we want to add some delay in between these two animations. So we would just write animated dot delay of 1500 milliseconds. So let's see this in an example. So the color changed, it waited for 1500 milliseconds and then it scaled. Okay, we have 2 questions. Question by Chan. Sir, I have a question if we have so the animation does not reduce your performance of the app if you are using animation in a right way. If we are using animation in a right way, like using native drivers and not very heavy animations, not a lot of animations, then it does not impact. So if we are going to run the animation constantly for infinite in an infinite loop, then definitely it will reduce the performance a bit, but it will not significantly reduce the performance. It will be hardly barely visible. So even you can make games out of animations, like you can make a 2D game out of this React Native animated library. That is also feasible. Okay. Moving to next question, what we have three animation we should want to stagger. Yeah, definitely. So let's say we have 3 animation that we want to stagger. I can just show you the example over here. So in this stagger animation, we are doing color scale. Let's say do also translate animation. Okay, we will create an translate animation of user value. So we want to translate from 0 to, let's say, some value. We'll see. Now to our animated style, we want to add this translate. So translate also goes into the transform function. So we'll use this transform function for our translation. So we'll use translate y, and let's say we want to move it upwards. So translate y, and we'll use translate animation dot current. Okay. Now animated dot timing with translate animation dot current. Now let's say we want to move it to 100 pixels upward. So to value of -100 with a duration of 500 milliseconds. Okay. Also, let's say we want to add some effect on it. Let's say easing will be easing dot back. So let's uncomment this stagger animation. Oh, we did some mistake. Okay, this is not translate. Now this should be fine. So as you can see, okay, this has so it took some time. Let's say we want to increase the delay. Let's say increase the delay to 1000 seconds so that the elements are more visible how it is happening. Now we'll run the animation. So initially the color animation will start immediately and it will run over a duration of 500 milliseconds. And then after 1000 seconds from the beginning, the second animation will start and it will run for 300 milliseconds. And then again 1000 milliseconds, it will third animation will start. Okay. So we can add any number of elements to our stagger animation. Does it answer your question? So we have a question. I did not get your question, Yash.
Yash, if you can just come, like if you can just raise your hand and then you can just clarify the question, like what exactly you want to know. Okay, I'm just handing the mic to Yash. Rishu.
Hi, Yash.
Hi, Yash.
Hello.
Hi, Yash. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just asking, can we have different stagger times for different animations? So I understood, like when you were explaining for two, I understood that we can have multiple of them. But let's say I want the second animation to start after 500 millisecond and the third one to start after 1000 millisecond. Can we configure that, or do we have to use delay instead?
Yeah, in that scenario, we have to use delay if you want
Oh,
to add certain delays in between
oh,
that. So the stagger
okay,
will only have one value that will be used for consecutive animations.
okay. That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, moving forward.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so we learn how can we use combining functions to use more interactive animations. Next, moving on. So the next topic will be interpolate. So this topic is a very useful topic, and it's a most, I would say, most advanced topic that is used in animations, React Native animation. So using interpolate, you can animate any property in any way that you want. Okay. So let's explore interpolation. So again, in this example, I'm using the same block, which is, so we'll try to interpolate this animation, and we are doing it on for a scale property. We are going to scale this to 2. Okay, let's see how it works. So as we can see, okay, I'll just comment out this part. Okay, now what is happening? So this interpolate function takes in properties as an argument. So it has two major property, input range and output range. So the input range defines, it's a monotonically increasing function. We have to provide something which is ever increasing. So it defines the points where we want to map our input to our output. So let's say input has 3 values and output also has 3 values. So each will be mapped directly. So let's understand this example. So in this example, we have input range 3 values, 0, 1, and 2. So it says for an input of 0, the output will be 1. That means when the animation initial value was 0, the scale value was 1. That is, this is 1. Okay. Now the animation, when the input value when goes to 1, the output will be 2. It will scale twice. Again, when the input value becomes 2, the output will be 1. So as we can see, when we click on this, it expands and then it contracts, right? Just reload it. As we can see, it expands and then it contracts, right? So this is because we are saying like we are animating from 0 to 2, from 0 to 2, initial value was 0 and we are animating it to 2, and then we say for output range of 2, we want it to scale value of 1. So this is how we can interpolate. So it maps directly. Now let's see some more examples on it. So if I define my input range like this, 0, 1 and 2, and I say to value of 1, or let's say we define to value of 2 but we don't define the input value of 2, what will happen? Any guess what will happen here? Like I want to animate it to 2 but my input range does not say it has a second value. Let's see how does it. It expanded and then it did not contract, but it expanded more if you see. So in the earlier example, it did not expand a lot. Now in this example where we don't have input range of 2, it is expanding even bigger, right? So how does it work? So if we do not have the end range, which is if the limit is exceeding to our input range, then it linearly maps it to output range. So it knows, okay, 0 was 1, 1 was 2, so 2 was 3. So it is becoming 3 times bigger now. It knows, okay, it has to expand even more. So this is called extrapolate. So by default, extrapolate is identity. Sorry. By default, the extrapolate value is extend. If we do not specify an extrapolate value, it is extended by default. So now if we say clamp, using the same example, if we say clamp, then it will not go to 2 value. It will not go to 2. It will only stay with 1. It will not expand even more. It will just go to size now of 2. Is it fine? Cool. So this is basic about interpolation. Let's see if anyone has any query on interpolation, if this is not clear. So this is the most important concept of React Native animation. If we can use interpolate in a way that let's say we have an element, we want to make it look like fly and then reduce the opacity, we can have multiple interpolation in one component. So we can also write a second interpolate function. Let's say we write opacity interpolate. Okay. So we are doing an interpolation on the same value, same animation value. Again, input range is 1, 0, and let's say 2. And output range is 0 is opacity 1, and we want to, let's say, reduce it to 0.5 and then increase it to 1 back. Okay. Now we want to add this to opacity property. Now opacity will use our opacity interpolate. Okay. Now when we click on this, as we can see, okay, let me increase the timing so that it's more visible. Opacity reduces and then it becomes normal. So we can use any property. We can use interpolation on any property to animate our views. Cool. Okay. So this was the basic about the basic building blocks of React Native animation. So using interpolation, using animator timing, stagger, spring, different functions, we can create any animations that we want to create. Now let's move to some more examples. Okay, first, like if anyone has any doubts or any questions till now, if I was not clear on any of the topic, then you can raise your hand. Now we'll move to our 2 examples that we shown in the beginning. So these are the examples that we want to animate. So first we will learn how can we make this type of animation and this animation. So we'll quickly do an overview, how to break this, how to think that how can you make this animation in React Native. Okay. So the first example. So this example, yesterday I was just figuring out like which one should I talk in the webinar. So let's see. I'll just show the motivation behind it. Yeah. So in Lottie files, I just came across this animation that two clouds are flying and there is a plane which is just spinning on it. So this looked quite fancy. So I thought like, how can I make this animation in React Native? So let's break it down. So what I did, so for this particular animation, we have two image. One is cloud and one is this male. Okay. So this we have two clouds and one male. So two clouds are one is at top, one is at bottom, and male is in the between. Now these two clouds are one is coming from left to right, one is coming from right to left. Okay. And this male part is just rotating and translating on a y-axis on this animation. Okay, let's see. I'll just make it again. So I've done this animation. I'll first show you how does it look in React Native. So this is what I have achieved with this. So how can we make this animation in a similar fashion? I'll just quickly walk through this example. Or do you want me to code it so that everyone can understand how can we make it, or should I just walk through it? Okay, cool. Then I'll start with coding. So first example is rebel this male one example. I'll just try to code it. So let's create this React Native functional component. So I use this snippet exporter. So like this will just quickly create the snippet so that I don't have to write this boilerplate each and every time. So I start with mail to component. So in this mail to component, first of all, we have three elements on it. So let's add these elements. Quickly, I'll just comment out this mail part. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's import the images that we want to have. We have three images. I'll quickly create three images part, and each have source. Let's see, one is cloud and one is mail. So the first one that we want is cloud. Second source that we want is mail. Third using again cloud. Okay, now all these three are there, but the size is distorted. Let's put some style on it. Let's say cloud one. First define its cloud style. Let's say width is 50 and the size mode is contain. So I'm just trying to put some basic style on this component so that each and everything is visible properly. So let's say we have height of 200 and We also have weight count. Let's put some tint colors to the cloud. Is it fine? We don't have to put it into right now. We want to put the cloud one to beginning. So this will be align self. Flex start value. Cloud two will be so we have three elements, and this male we want to align it to center. Let's put this to male. So this cloud has some, I'll not say cloud, I'll say image, so that it's more generic. Okay. Now we have this basic layout ready. So now we'll start animating it. Let's say we want to put some tint color that will look more better. Cloud 1 and Cloud 2 will have tint color as, let's copy the tint color from the previous example. Now we want to animate it. So we'll first start with creating this animated value. So, okay, now one point, how should we think about animation over here? See, all these three elements are animating at a time. They are not independent, right? They are like just, I'm sorry, they are not dependent. They are independent, but they are animating at the same time. So it's just one single animation value is sufficient to animate all these three property. Okay. So we'll quickly create one animated ref. Now we want to create animated style. So we have three elements, so we'll create three style. Const cloud one style. So cloud one, we want to reduce the opacity, and also we want to translate it to x-axis, right? So cloud one and cloud two, both we want to translate it to x-axis, but in an opposite direction. So cloud one will have, first of all, opacity property. So opacity we have to interpolate. So we'll create, let's say opacity interpolate. So first of all, we'll create a helper function that will help us to create the interpolation part. Const get interpolation. What it does, it returns us the animation dot current dot interpolate. Input range we want to, let's say right now we want to define three input range, and output range as it is we want to pass it to. Now creating this opacity style, const opacity interpolate So this will be get interpolation. So how we want to, okay, I'll just comment it out. Yeah. So this particular cloud element, we want it to start with 0 opacity, then it goes to 1, then again it goes back to 0. So opacity interpolation start with 0, 1 and 0. Cool. So opacity interpolation range will be 0, 1 and 0. Output range. Cool. The opacity will be opacity interpolation. Again, similarly, Cloud2 styles. Same opacity interpolation will be valid over here also. Let's create our animate function. Start animation. So what it does, this just animated dot timing over animation dot current value with true value of, let's say, 2 and duration of 3000 milliseconds. Now also we have to start this animation. Okay. So we want to use it in an effect. So we'll use effect. Okay, so we have not applied the styles to our cloud. So let's apply this cloud1 style. Cloud2 style. So both have become diminished. Okay, now as you can see, it starts from 0 opacity, goes to 1, and then again goes back to 0. Now we want to make it inside a loop. So we have a helper function called animated.loop. So animated.loop, it simply loops over the animation. Right, we'll keep on looping. Is it fine so far? If anyone has any doubt, please stop me in between. Cool. Next, let's translate these clouds, one to right of the top one to right and left one to left, bottom one to left. Cool. So we'll create two interpolation again. Let's say translate X interpolation. So this is, so let's say we want to translate from 0 to 75 to 150. Okay. Now we'll apply to cloud1. Transform is an array, it takes an array and it has translate X with translate X interpolation. Okay. Now the top cloud starts moving. So it is not moving a lot. We also want to move it a bit more. So let's say it is 180 and this is 90. Okay. Now the bottom one, we want to move it to backward. So we'll create a reverse of this interpolation, translate X reverse interpolation. So this will be minus 90 and minus 180. Is it fine? So this will be applied to cloud2 styles. I'll just quickly copy this transform. Translate X reverse interpolation. Cool. Now both have started moving. So we are almost near. Okay, so it is saying animated use native driver was not specified. So I think we can use over here our use native driver as true. This will just improve a little bit performance, which is not even visible over here. Now the next task is to rotate, put motion into this mail part. Okay, so I'll put some more styles to mail. So this is actually apart from this to cloud, so it has to overlap with those. So I'll put margin vertical as -20, so that yeah, they can overlay. Now let's put const rotation interpolation. Rotation interpolation we want. So okay, so right now this is in left tilted shape. We want to move it to right a bit and then again back to left. So let's say initially it is at 0 degree. So initially at 0 it is at 0 degree. Then it goes to, let's say 20 degree. 20 degree to the right, and then again back to 0 degree. Okay. This rotation interpolation will be applied to mail styles. So this rotation is also part of transform property. Okay, I did some mistake. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay, we have some error. Rotation interpolation, rotation get interpolation of 0 degree, 20 degree. This is applied to mail styles. Okay, this transform is wrong. So now this has started rotating a bit. Okay. Now this rotation was not just sufficient. We also have to provide some y-axis movement also. Okay. So we'll create one more interpolation. Const translate y interpolation. Y-axis we want to translate it to little bit upward. So let's say at beginning it was 0, then it goes to -10, and then it goes back to 0. So this translate y interpolation will be applied over here itself. Translate y interpolation. Reload it. Now it is also going up a bit. So this is what we wanted to achieve. Hope I am clear over here. Cool. Moving to the next example, Ripple. I'll just do a quick walkthrough on this. So first of all, I'll just show how this look into the example. So this can be used as a loader at many different places. So here we can see 4 concentric circles, which is contracting and expanding and contracting over a given period of time, and it's in a loop. Okay. So how can we create such a Ripple animation? So first of all, creating this animation is purely dependent on how you break down this problem. So this can be done in a better way, like that the way that I have done it, you can definitely do it in a better way. So this is not just the only solution that you can do to solve any animation. Okay. So how to achieve this kind of this particular solution? So here we can see we have 4 concentric circle which is contracting and expanding over time. Okay, so we start with creating four different view, which is animated view, four different animated view with properties at style of absolute and different circles property. So I'll just quickly walk through the property. Okay, so my circle 1, circle 2, circle 3, circle 4 all has width of similar width and height, and the background color is different. So this 4 has background color of this 4 background color, so that it's purely visible how it's changing over the time. Okay, now yeah, so also we create four reference animated value. Okay, and then we have this expand animation function, which takes a reference to a animated value and duration and to value to which we want to expand. So this is just a modular way of writing it. Otherwise we could have written this animated timing each and every time, but that will be not a modular scenario. Okay, again we have a scale function. So this scale, this what it does, it takes a circle reference as an input and output range as an input, and it interpolates with an output range to a given circular ref. Okay, now we have function called animate forward. Animate forward, what it does, it has parallel animation with all these four circles animating in parallel. Expand animation, we are calling expand animation with a duration. So the first circle is animated for 300 seconds, the second is 600, 900 and 1200 with a 2 value of 1. Okay, so as soon as this animation completes, so after it has all the four circle has expanded, we want to contract it. Now the expand animation is going to a value of 0. Once this parallel animation has executed successfully, then it is going to 0, and then again when this is completed successfully, then we are calling the recursion animated forward. This will call in a loop. So I have done it in a this way. We could also have used this dot loop, animated dot loop function over here, but this is just a way to do it, right? So I'll share this code with everyone, the GitHub link with everyone. Maybe all of you can have a look into it, and maybe if you have any doubt, we can connect later, and that will be better, I think. So, any questions so far? So yeah, that's all from my side. And if anyone has any query how we should animate or any doubt on it, we can definitely connect.
We are done with the session, and thank you so much guys for joining us here. Guys, if you can just provide us your feedback, that would be great. I am sharing the link once again, so that would be great if you can just let us know how the session was and what you want to know in the next session, because we are planning, if you want to go ahead with the, I would say, same topic, next level kind of a stuff, let us know in the comment, in the feedback form itself, and we will be coming up with a, I would say, a pro level, I would say a next level kind of a webinar in the same topic. So that is something which you can do. Apart from that, I'll be sharing all the links with you guys, so that you can follow us there and you can get all the updates, the kind of sessions we're gonna do in future. Also, like
Yes,
if you want to,
share the link, GitHub link with you.
okay, you have sent, yeah, like,
So is
okay,
it visible on the channel?
great. So maybe like by Monday you will be receiving the recording of the webinar, so that whatever you have missed, you can just refer the recording of the webinar. Okay, and thank you so much guys for taking time out of your Saturday, and thank you so much Rishu. It was really a great session, and I hope everyone has got to learn a lot of things from this session. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Nice talking to you.